So this woman got married 19 times and is believed to have caused the deaths of at least 13 of her husbands. No joke. The woman's name was Koulsum. This story begins when Koulsum was only 18 years old. She was living in Iran and her life was extremely difficult. Her family was struggling with severe poverty, and in 1985 they arranged her marriage to an older man in hopes of improving their situation. The man she married was much older than her, and he was abusive. Life with him was harsh and unhappy. By the time Koulsum reached her 20s, she had already entered her second marriage. Unfortunately, her second husband was not much different from the first. He was also significantly older and treated her badly. After experiencing 2 terrible marriages, Koulsum began to develop deep resentment toward men. By the year 2000, Koulsum was about 33 years old. After years of suffering, she decided she would never allow herself to live under another abusive husband again. But she also wanted money, and she did not want to work for it. So she came up with a dangerous plan. Koulsum decided she would marry wealthy, lonely, elderly men. Then, when the time was right, she would find a way to remove them from her life and take their money. To begin her plan, she started attending women's social and religious gatherings in different communities. There, she would tell people that she was single and looking for a good husband, preferably an older man who lived alone and wanted companionship. The women at these gatherings believed she was kind and trustworthy. Many of them introduced her to elderly men they knew. In some cases, they even introduced her to their own fathers. When Koulsum met these men, she acted warm and charming. She appeared caring and respectful, which made the men feel comfortable around her. Soon, conversations about marriage would begin. But before agreeing to marry anyone, Koulsum would quietly investigate their financial situation. She wanted to know whether they owned property, had savings, or possessed valuable assets. Only when she was certain the man had money would she agree to the marriage. And even then, she insisted on one condition: a large dowry. A dowry is a gift from the groom to the bride at the time of marriage, often money or property. Many of the men agreed because they believed they were gaining a devoted wife who would care for them during old age. Once the marriage took place, Koulsum would begin the next stage of her plan. She collected various prescription medications, such as blood pressure drugs, diabetes medicine, and strong sedatives. Gradually, she would mix small amounts into the food or tea she served to her husband. The husband would eat or drink normally, unaware of what was happening. Over time, he would begin to feel weak and ill. Because these men were already elderly and often taking medications of their own, their declining health did not seem suspicious to anyone around them. As their condition worsened, Koulsum would take them to the hospital and act like a concerned and worried wife. In reality, these visits helped create a record of illness so their eventual deaths would appear natural. After returning home from the hospital, she would repeat the cycle again, secretly increasing the medication doses in their meals and drinks. Eventually, the husband would become extremely sick and die. Because he had already been ill and elderly, most people assumed the death was natural. Afterward, Koulsum would collect the dowry and any inheritance she received. However, she often transferred the money and property into her daughter's name so that she would not appear suddenly wealthy. After a short period of mourning, she would begin the process again. She returned to social gatherings, announced that she was once again looking for a husband, and soon someone would introduce her to another elderly man. She repeated this pattern again and again. In total, Koulsum married 19 different men over the years. She frequently moved between towns so that the deaths would not easily be connected to each other. Sometimes, if her plan with the medications was not working quickly enough, she would use other methods to ensure the husband did not survive. Often the marriages lasted only a few months. For example, in 2013, she married a 69-year-old man who died only a month later. In 2016, she married another man who was 62 years old, and he died within a few months. In another case, she married an 83-year-old man who passed away just 43 days after their wedding. As the years passed, Koulsum accumulated more and more money from dowries, inheritances, and property. However, in 2020, something unexpected happened. At that time, she was married to a man named Masi. As she had done before, she attempted to poison one of his drinks. But this time, things did not go according to her plan. Shortly after drinking it, Masi felt something was wrong and immediately confronted her. He suspected that she was trying to poison him. He threw her out of the house and divorced her. Surprisingly, he did not report the incident to the police, possibly because he did not have enough evidence. Despite this setback, Koulsum did not abandon her plan. She soon began searching for another husband. In 2023, she married an 82-year-old man named Ghulam Raza. He was wealthy, elderly, and living alone. Not long after the marriage, she served him a cup of tea that had been poisoned. He drank it and soon passed away. But this time, the family became suspicious. Ghulam Raza's relatives felt that something about his death was not right. Around the same time, his son was speaking with a friend. By coincidence, that friend was the son of Masi, Koulsum's former husband. As they talked, one mentioned his father's death and his doubts about the wife named Koulsum. The other was shocked and explained that his own father had recently divorced a woman with the same name after suspecting she tried to poison him. This conversation triggered a police investigation. Eventually, the authorities arrested Koulsum. During questioning, she confessed to causing the deaths of somewhere between 13 and 15 of her husbands. She even admitted she was not completely sure of the exact number. In 2025, she went to trial. The court found her guilty, and she received multiple death sentences. The case became one of the most shocking true crime stories involving marriage deception and serial killings.